What if I told you that yesterday I accidentally proved that we could be living in a simulation? So what happened was I went out in the morning to go and shoot a couple of videos. There's a nice big park near where I live, and it's nice to get out and get some fresh air. There's lots of nice trees and grass and whatnot, so it's a nice environment to shoot videos. And I was walking behind a lady that had two dogs with her, and normally there's this particular tree that I like to sit in front of, and normally people don't go near that because they seem to go at a diagonal going across the park instead. But in this particular instance, she was making a beeline right towards that tree, and I was thinking, well, hopefully she'll kind of steer off in one direction as she gets nearer. But no, sure enough, she ended up going straight towards the tree and then stopped about 10 paces in front of it. And then she got her mobile phone out of her pocket to make a call, and I thought, well, that's it, and then she's going to be there for like 10-15 minutes or more. Now there is another part that I do like to go and shoot videos, but it's a bit more exposed there, and because it was quite a windy day yesterday, I knew it was going to cause havoc with my microphone, so I thought, well, I can't really go there either, so I was a little bit stuck as to what to do. And I remember thinking, not nasty thoughts, but I just kind of thought, of all the places in the entire park she has to go, why does she have to go there? I wish she would just go off somewhere else so I can shoot my video. So not only was I thinking that, but there was an element of energy from my heart. There's a guy called Greg Braden who you've probably heard of. He's done a lot of studies around the amount of electricity that your heart produces versus your brain, and it's something like 300 times the amount. I might be misquoting that, but it's a lot more than your brain. And that would account for why when people talk about wanting to manifest something, you can't just be doing it from your head. You have to create that feeling and that excitement that you would get if you already had that in your possession. So as I thought that it was definitely attached to emotion as opposed to just a sort of a random thought in my head. And literally 5 to 10 seconds after I had that thought, one of the two dogs bolted in the opposite direction to where she was standing and literally ran past me by a few foot. And the woman suddenly started chasing the dog. And while she's on the phone, I think the other dog must have been owned by the person that was on the phone, because she said, "Oh, your dog's just suddenly ran off, and it was running towards the gate, which has got a road as well. So hence why she was running in a bit of a panic." And in the I looked round and I could see that she finally caught it. Did go out the gate, but she managed to catch up with the dog and get it back in again. And then they started walking off in a completely different direction. So I was kind of amused and interested in the fact that I had that thought, and literally within seconds, it's almost like I was able to control what happened, shape reality. Now, the funny thing is, I finished doing my video, so I was happy, and then I thought, well, I'll shoot another video, and the wind had dropped by this point, so I thought, well, I'll go round to the other part, because I actually prefer the view in the other part of the park. There's a lot more trees and foliage and things. So as I got nearer to the second gate to go through to the other part, I then caught up with this other couple, man and a woman. They also had two dogs. I'm assuming it's their own dogs. And then as you go through the gate, you can turn left or right. And if they were going to turn right, that was again going to be right where I wanted to go and do my video. So I thought, well, maybe I can do this again. So I was thinking, right, turn left, turn left, turn left. But at this point, I have to admit, I didn't really, because it was more of a sort of a conscious thought, and I was sort of deliberately trying to change the situation. But I didn't really feel the same thing in my chest, in my heart, as I did with the previous instance. And sure enough, they went left, which is the exact opposite way to the way that I wanted to go. So now you could argue if they turn right, well, maybe then I would think, oh yeah, that was because I controlled it. It's probably a better thing that they went left, because I had something to compare it to, because as I say, I didn't really have the same feeling as I did the first time. But going back to the first instance, it's a very exciting prospect to think that if we are in a simulation, and there's been so many people that have already talked about this feeling and creating that energy, that vibration that would affect what other people do, you are then effectively controlling reality. And then if you can do that, what other things can you do? And it's kind of like in the movie The Matrix, where, you know, Neo is being taught how to jump over the gap in the building, or, you know, doing kung fu, but, you know, just sort of letting go to the system, if you like, to the simulation, and taking over. So I would love to hear from you if you've experienced anything like this. Have you ever thought something and then it's happened and maybe it scared yourself to some degree? Do you think this could be related to the simulation? I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video or you got anything out of it, then please give me a like. It means a lot to me and does lots for my channel, which I'm trying to get off the ground as best as possible. So thanks for watching. I will look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Take care.